Hello and welcome to the On Your Head Son podcast. We are back. We had a little bit of a break after the Euros and the initial prediction podcast, but we are back and we are raring to go. So, without further ado, let's welcome Andy. How are you doing, Andy?
I'm very good. Great to be back.
Excellent. He brought out the pistols as well. And a big welcome to Matt as well. How are you doing, Matt?
Yeah, living the dream, James. Can't wait to get back on this. Let's go.
Yeah.
Come on.
Let's go. And we have made a commitment. We will be doing this definitely until the end of the season. But to start off with, what we're going to do is we're going to do a roundup of what's happened so far. Then we're going to look at a few transfers. Then we'll do our team of the seasons. And we're going to finish off with a little game as well for you.
Oh, yes.
So,
get yourself ready.
I cannot wait. And I bet you guys can't too. So, what a season it's been so far, in the sense that a lot of the big teams are having off seasons. In fact, only Liverpool are the ones that are being solid. The three promoted teams are struggling. They're joined by Wolves. Everton now have a bit of daylight between themselves in the bottom four, thanks to resurgence under David Moyes. But the real standout story of the year has been the performance of two clubs who you would expect to be mid-table or even struggling. Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth.
Definitely. I mean, what a shock. What a shock to see Forest up in third. I can't believe they've been there as well and they're holding their own. I think they're, best team in Premier League at the moment.
The form they've been on, I mean, before that Bournemouth game was just unreal. I predicted both of those teams to go down at the start of the season. I don't know how they've done it.
Well, I predicted that Tottenham would win the league, so that went really well, didn't it? But enough about that. Let's quickly go on to Matt. What has been your standout story of the season so far?
So, from a positive point of view, what you just said there about Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth, that's been the standout story, really, of the season. But really, I think it's the downfall of these titans of clubs. You mentioned Tottenham just there. You look at Man U. I think one's in 17th, one's in 15th or 14th. Yeah, I think, and also City's run as well. So I mean, I think it's mainly been an underachieving season for a lot of the big clubs, even Arsenal to a certain extent as well. So that would be my story of the season so far.
So your story of the season is one of disappointment.
No, yeah, I'd say disappointment of the big clubs. For the big clubs, but it's actually probably been a positive to have the kind of those middle of a road kind of what are they called, clubs to actually achieve.
What are they called, clubs?
What are they called? Clubs.
Middle of the road. Fine.
I was trying to
Matt,
think of a good kind of acronym then, but it didn't.
Matt's done already. Matt, he's been on for about 10 seconds and he's already done. Andy, what's your story of the season so far?
Similar to Matt, I love a downfall. And seeing the bold fraud Guardiola have a bad season is fantastic. It's been great to see just kind of how he hasn't been able to change anything tactically during that terrible bit of form around Christmas. And it's a shame they're coming back a little bit now, but it's been great that we're not just another Farmers League for one season. They haven't just won it all again. And I don't think they will.
Never say never. You never know. Well, one thing that City have done already a lot this January is bolster their squad. We are well and truly at the back end of the January transfer window. In fact, it closes next Monday, so still a bit of time for clubs to bolster their squads. It hasn't been the busiest, hasn't been the craziest of all time. Man City being like the busiest of the clubs, really, because they were in such need of it.
Southampton
have been really good.
Yeah.
Enough said about that. We'll start with you, Andy. Who has been your signing of the transfer window so far?
Right. Well, before I say this, I would say that you two chose better ones than I did, because I didn't have options for them. But I've gone for Ben Godfrey for Ipswich, which might be a little bit of a controversial one. And I think Ipswich need that extra centre back at the back to kind of rotate things. And I think he'll be a good member of their squad to help them keep them up. And he's gonna bolster that defence. I've got faith. He's got Premier League experience. They need that in that squad. And I think he'll be a good rotation for that back four.
One appearance at Atlanta so far this season for Ben Godfrey.
Exactly, he's in form.
You say so far this season. I mean, it's the only appearance he'll make this season. Well, I think that mine and Matt's going to be a little bit better. Ben Godfrey as the transfer window. I don't think we can leave with that.
Go on, James. Go on, James.
I'll go next. I have gone in for Donyell Marlin going to Aston Villa from Borussia Dortmund. Villa have not, well, particularly with Leon Bailey, they haven't been he hasn't been what everyone expected him to be this year. I think everyone expected him to kick on this year, like get way more goals, assists, and everything like that. He just hasn't had that end product, and his performances haven't been that great at all. So I think that Donyell Marlin is a really, really good fit to challenge that position and probably have a bit more end product to what Aston Villa have, and particularly where they're still in the Champions League as well. So my signing of the window is Donyell Marlin.
Fair enough. I think that's completely fair. I think particularly given Leon Bailey's struggles, I think that's really the key to that, because I don't think anyone really foresaw that. But yeah, I like him a lot as a player, I have to say.
Great. What are you saying, Matt?
Mine's quite a basic one, I have to say. He's a Man City player. Where does he play? He plays as a winger, obviously, coming into a cam. There's a new Egyptian king in town. It's Mamouche, and we love him so much. I think he's only obviously played that one game. I think before he was at Frankfurt, I don't know how long for, maybe 2-3 years, and he was tearing it up there. I think they won. They won quite a bit over there in the Conference League or the Europa League, whichever one. But yeah, I think he looked super energetic, particularly his first game. A lot better than another City signing. So yeah, I'm going to go with Mamouche. Omar Mamouche, I think he'll kick on really well.
Completely agree there. I mean, he was level on goals with Harry Kane in the Bundesliga. For Frankfurt as well. He was absolutely tearing up. And against Chelsea, he looked electric.
He did.
Yeah, agreed. Well, Electric Mamouche is Matt's pick for the transfer of the window. Right, question to you, Andy. Are there any transfers that you want to see in the last few days of the transfer window?
Well, it's one that everyone goes on about because obviously Arsenal are a big club, but I would like to see them get a number 9. A proper striker over Kai Havertz. Because I think they just need... They haven't looked like they're finishing any goals apart from their set pieces. And without Saka, they do need someone to kind of just be in front of goal and just be clinical. And Havertz is not that one. I said potentially John Duran, because he's not getting a lot of minutes at Villa. And I think he's got, the most goals from the bench he's got this season? And I don't know if he's near the top of where Watkins is. I'm not sure how many goals he's on. But every time he's got a chance, and I've seen him play, he's finished it well. And yeah, I think he'd be a good fit at Arsenal.
Yeah, that's fair. No, I think that's fair. I think there's other number 9s out there. And I think particularly one that Man U are linked to now, and that's Osimhen. Now, from Fenerbahce or Galatasaray, is he past it? Almost definitely. Would he fit in at Manchester United on a 300k salary a week? Oh, yes, he would. So I think that would be absolutely hilarious transfer, and that's something I'd like to see them repeat the same mistakes over and over again.
Yeah, another Falcao. I like that.
Exactly, yeah. Or Neymar. Neymar's a free agent now, so let's get him in the Premier League.
Yeah, why not? I'm going to go with one for Southampton, and I don't actually know if this guy's fit or not, but we need someone that can score goals. We don't score any goals at all. And I think someone that might work, if he's fit, it's out of favour Evan Ferguson at Brighton on loan for the rest of the season.
Very out of favour, played very shit so far this season, been awful.
But, I mean, he would probably turn down Southampton at the moment. And we do have Tool Pool, so everything's fine.
Everything is fine. You heard it here first. Southampton do not need to sign anyone. We are staying up.
Yeah, big time. Big time.
Brilliant. Well, on from the transfer window, and now we're going to do the fun bit. We're going to do our team of the seasons so far. Which one of the two of you wants to volunteer to do the team of the season first? One thing I should add first is that it's one player per club. Who's going to go first?
Happy to go? Right. I'm going 4-3-3. It's a typical. I think it's more 4-2-3-1. I want to say. So let's go for that. So in goal, Pickford from Everton. Left back, Anthony Robertson, Fulham. Centre backs, Van Dijk and Saliba, Arsenal and Liverpool. Right back, you got Aina from Forest. And then your two holding centre mids, Caicedo from Chelsea and obviously Baliba from Brighton. I think he's been very good. Left wing, I've gone for Mbeumo. Right wing, I've gone for Diallo. And Cam, I've gone for Morgan Rogers. And up front, Big Isak. There we go. That's the team.
Do you know what? I'm going to go straight after Matt because mine does have a bit of similarity to that. Mine is a 4-3-3. So I've gone for Pickford in goal. I've gone for Robinson at left back. I've gone for Howson of Bournemouth at centre back, alongside Gabriel. Since Howson's come in, he's been amazing, by the way. Right back, I've gone for Olo Aina at Nottingham Forest. Then I've got Belieber, Tielemans, and Palmer making up a midfield three. And then I've got Mbumo left wing, Isak centre forward, and who else but the real Egyptian king, the current Egyptian king, Mo Salah at right wing.
I love our team. Very similar, I've got to say. Very similar. A few players.
I did notice, Matt, you didn't have any Bournemouth players in there.
So that would be a point, because I think that Bournemouth are a brilliant team, but none of them are stars. You look at I think Kirkez is a good shout, and I think who you said, Hoyson or whatever his name is. But I really think the manager there is doing an absolutely cracking job with a decent squad, but none of them are superstars. I wouldn't say any of them in my team.
More the manager than the team.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, Andy, down to you. Who is your team of the season so far?
Right, well, in goal, again, Pickford. Left back, Kirikes. Centre backs, Anderson and Diaz. Right back, Wan-Bissaka. CDM, Tonali. Attacking centre mid, Palmer. Other centre mid, Rice. Left winger, Cunha. Up front, Chris Wood. And right wing, Mo Salah.
I like it. I like it.
Different.
Andy,
It's
I
different.
love how ballsy that is. Some of those calls are just shocking.
They're not shocking. How are
Aaron
they shocking?
Wan-Bissaka. How has Wan-Bissaka
Yes.
made it into that?
Listen, you
conversation?
gave me, I have to get one out of every team. Wan-Bissaka's done well at West Ham.
Who are your centre backs?
Diaz from City.
Ruben Diaz and
Ruben
who?
Diaz and Anderson from Fulham.
So Diaz,
Anderson, yeah, fine, I'll take that.
Anderson,
Diaz,
Diaz had a good season. I mean, the rest of the team hasn't, but Diaz has actually looked okay in that
Diaz
back four.
of the City defence that is just shipping goals for fun.
Yes, but that's not his fault. That's just all the fullbacks. He's next to Nunes. He's actually not done bad. He's not done bad there. I'd still go for Diaz at the back there. And yeah, I like Wan-Bissaka there as well. I think he's had a good season away from United.
Okay. Can't say I agree with all of them in there, Andy, but each to their own. What we're going to do now is we're going to just go through and we're going to make a combined 11. 4-3-3 seems to be the formation of choice, so we're going to go 4-3-3. There are some ones that are already decided because at least two of us have put in the player. So we will be having Pickford in goal. We will be having Robinson from Fulham at left back.
Okay.
That was a tie-up.
Kirikes and Robinson, yeah, I was between those two. He's had a good season.
So then we haven't got any confirmed centre-backs. So, Andy, seeing as we've got two Arsenal centre-backs in there, Gabriel and Saliba, I'm going to let you decide whether we have Gabriel or if we have Saliba as the Arsenal centre-back in this team.
Overall, as a centre-back, I would say Saliba is a better one. But just going on just his threat from going from corners, I'm going to go Gabriel.
Fair enough. I think that's
Why
fair.
I had to put something about Set Piece FC in there.
So that means by process of elimination of all the centre backs, because we've already picked the other team. So obviously you've got Hoyson and Anderson, who are obviously from Fulham. We've already got a player picked, and Hoyson. Do we have a Bournemouth player picked?
No, we don't have a Bournemouth.
No, we
pick.
don't. Oh.
So it's between Hoyson of Bournemouth and Anderson at Fulham. And actually, it can't be Anderson because we've had Robinson. So it's Howson. Me and Matt both picked Olo Aina, so he will be our right back. We have Belieber at centre midfield. We then have, and our final space here in the team, we need an extra centre midfielder. We have choices here between Tielemans and possibly Morgan Rogers.
Ooh.
Oh, but you can't put Palmer. You can't put Palmer deeper.
We've already got Palmer, so
Very, very attacking if we go for Morgan Rogers here. But I think I prefer Morgan
I
Rogers.
feel like
It's got to be Tielemans, surely.
it's going to be Yuri Tielemans.
Oh, Yuri Tielemans it is then.
Yuri Tielemans makes the team.
What a team.
Okay, so calling out our combined team of the year so far, we have Jordan Pickford in goal, Anthony Robinson at left back, Howson and Gabriel at centre back, Olo Aina at right back, Belieber, Tielemans and Palmer making the midfield three, then Mbuemo, Isak and Salah making the front line.
It's a pretty shit team.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great. It's not great there.
That team will do damage. Let us know what you think on that one. But I've had enough talking about good players. Let's talk about like the jokes that have happened so far. We're going to do a combined worst team of the season, but we're going to do this a little bit differently. We're going to do it in a sort of draft format where we take it in turns to select our players. So again, one thing I should say, it has to be one player from like each club. Can't be any more than that. So what I'm going to ask you to do, or all of us to do one at a time, is to name the position that you want to pick and the name of the player you want to pick in that position. And again, just for consistency, we'll do a 4-3-3. We will start seeing, we'll go in reverse order from the team just then. So Andy, you are up first.
Right, I want to say right back, and I'm going to say Nunes. Nunes from City. He has been awful this year. Diaz has had to save him so many times. I don't want to go on about it. But Nunes, he's been awful. He's not a right back. What's Pep thinking? Yeah, it's a definite for me.
So interestingly on that one, I actually had Nunes somewhere else in the team because he's just awful. But I did also consider putting Kyle Walker as right back, because he was awful as well. Matt's just gutted. We'll get on to Matt in a minute.
Right. He's my captain.
Right. Well, so that's Man City done. So Nunes in at right back. Right. I am going to pick one of the centre backs, and I'm going to go for Wout Fass.
Yes, he was on mine.
Wout Fass is an absolute stinker of a player.
I had Vestergaard. Oh, yeah, fair enough.
They were the two.
Like Tottenham lost to a team that started Wout Fass the other day. Like, it's just appalling.
It's embarrassing.
Right, Matt, you're up.
I'm going to go for a centre midfielder. I'm going to keep it different as well. So we've got a City, we've got a Leicester player. I'm going to go with someone who needs to leave now, and that's Casemiro. Casemiro looks well past it, so yeah, Casemiro out. Yeah, so centre mid.
Damn it. Got rid of a United player. Damn.
I found with United there were so many players we could have
That
picked
was the
there.
thing, yeah. I wanted to get one out.
Right, okay, back to you, Andy.
I'll go CDM, and I'll go for Calvin Phillips. Calvin Phillips, who's just been shoddy again. Another season being shoddy in the Prem.
I found it quite hard to pick Ipswich players because they're doing okay for the quality of the players they are. But yeah, Calvin Phillips was the one that should have helped kick them on a bit further, but he's not done much, has he? Okay, right, I'm going to go for another midfielder, actually, to take the last midfielder spot. They're all quite defensive, these. But I'm going to go for Yves Bissouma at Spurs.
Oh.
I could not decide which Spurs player to pick. They've all played pretty badly, but Bissouma had a good season last season. But like the ability for oppositions to counter at them so quickly, I'm blaming it on a rubbish midfield, and I think that's the big problem. And I'm saying Bissouma is the worst of the lot. So he is in my worst.
I think that's fair. I think it's a bit harsh, but I'll take it. Right, I'm going to go for a goalkeeper. I'm going to get that one out because there is one that I think could come up, but he hasn't played enough games. I want someone who's a regular. So it's obviously Sanchez for Chelsea. I think him in goal.
I cannot argue against that at all. Andy, you're up.
I'm going to bite the bullet and go for the left back. And I'm going to say the Southampton player, Charlie Taylor, who I thought might be all right at the start of the season, give us a bit of experience in the Prem, but no.
I'm disappointed that you put him as our worst. I wanted Jack Stevens in there.
Stevens was my second.
He's the captain. So rude, I'll tell you.
Yeah, but he's been appalling. I can't decide whether to put this guy left wing or up front because I think there's an up. Yeah, I'll put him up front. Why not? Eddie Nketiah, Crystal Palace.
Yeah, he's on
absolute shocker.
Right, okay. I'm going to go for a slightly different one. We've obviously gone for relatively big names here, but including Charlie Taylor, of course. I'm going to go for right wing. Everton player. Lindstrom. Fucking dreadful. Honestly, I've only watched him like a few times. Don't make a habit of watching Everton. Every time I've watched him, just dreadful. Yeah, so yeah.
Fair, but to be honest, I was between putting Calvert-Lewin or Nketiah because Calvert-Lewin has been horrendous. Right, Andy, so you have left wing and a centre-back left.
Right, I'm going to go left wing, and I don't know technically if he does play left wing all the time. He switches between right and left. But I'm going Raheem Sterling.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say.
He has been absolutely awful. As I think we all predicted at the start of the season when he made that transfer, especially Matt. I mean, Matt can't stand him. I know that. T-Rex arms. But he has been awful, just not done anything. Yeah, not helped at all.
Yeah, I can't disagree. I mean, that was going to be my next pick. My final pick, and to complete this team, is someone who also had a good season last year, but has just fallen apart, and that's Craig Dawson at Wolves. He has been appalling, so bad, and Wolves are just leaking goals. So yeah, he was in my initial notes. Yeah, he completes our team of horrendous players. Matt, what I will do is I will let you pick the manager for this shocking team, and you don't have to pick a manager, so we can duplicate clubs here if you want to. Who is managing this team? Or would you like me to read out the team first, and then you can
read out
decide?
the team, and I'm going to give you the style of play they want to play here.
Okay, right. This is the worst team in the Premier League this season. We have Robert Sanchez in goal, Charlie Taylor at left back, Craig Dawson and Wout Fass at centre half, Matthias Nunes at right back, a midfield three of Calvin Phillips, Casemiro and Yves Bissouma, and then a front line of Raheem Sterling, Eddie Nketiah and Everton's Lindstrom. And that team is going to be managed by...
You're right, mate. Big Ange. Big Ange.
It's just who we are, mate. It's just who we are.
You're not entertained, mate. I think he'd actually give a very entertaining kind of press conference after every game if that was his team. I mean, it would be brilliant.
6-3 losses all around the board. Yeah, just who we are.
Just who we are.
What was it he said the other day?
Same story again, isn't it? What do you mean? It's like, that's a terrible way to start into. It's like, all right, calm down.
So bad.
He might
just
win a trophy.
So quick
this
side
season.
note on Ange there. I did see this noted a bit higher up. What are your guys' opinions? Do you think you get rid and stop the rot in the league, or do you keep him for these cup competitions?
Carabao Cup, come on, let's take it.
For any other team, I would say get rid of him, but they need a trophy, and like he's still in the cup competitions. As bad as they're playing how they don't look like it, it's a chance. They did it with Mourinho before a final. They can't do it with Ange now.
I agree. And the one thing you will say to him is that they do have a horrendous injury list at the moment. So that wraps up the team of the seasons. Let us know your thoughts on both the best and the worst. Feel free to share yours as well. What we'll now get on to is we'll do a little bit of a preview to the weekend's games. And so we'll rattle through the fixture list. So we've got Nottingham Forest versus Brighton, Newcastle versus Fulham, Everton versus Leicester, Ipswich versus Southampton, Bournemouth versus Liverpool, Wolves versus Villa, Man United versus Palace, Brentford versus Tottenham, Arsenal versus City, and then Monday night is Chelsea versus West Ham. Right, Matt, what fixture stands out for you there?
Unfortunately, it's a 3 p.m. Saturday kickoff, which is a little bit annoying there, but it's Bournemouth-Liverpool. I think Bournemouth on an absolute hot streak after beating Forest 5-0. Liverpool obviously being this machine that just won't lose at all anymore. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that game a lot. I think the way they play as well, Bournemouth, they cause a lot of chaos to teams. So yeah, looking forward to that and seeing how Slot deals with it. And it's at Bournemouth, which is always good. Yeah. So, yeah.
Score prediction?
2-2.
I was going to say 2-2 as well. I love that.
Yeah.
That's a very, very good one. Andy, what are you most looking forward to watch this weekend?
Well, I've gone for one that stands out, and I've gone for Chelsea West Ham. The return of Potter. Coming back to Stamford Bridge. He got some magic in his first game against Fulham because they did not deserve that game at all. Yeah, thanks, Matt. That was clever. But, I mean, yeah, obviously a terrible time he had at Chelsea. Chelsea are in a bad bit of form as well. Like, they've not picked up wins at all. Like, I think they got 1 out of their last 6. And West Ham, with that new manager bounce, not looking brilliant. So I think it's going to be an interesting one to see like kind of which one stops their rut and might kick on for the rest of the season.
I think the story is the return of Potter there. I think the game will be a bit boring. I'm not going to lie. But what are you saying, Andy? What's the score going to be?
I'm going to say it's probably going to be a boring one. 1-1.
1-1.
1-1.
Excellent. Great game to pick there, Andy.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
No worries, son.
My game to watch this weekend, and it's not biased, is Ipswich versus Southampton. The reason being, this is the most humongous game for both teams.
For both teams.
Saints, we are desperately trying to reach that 12 points to beat Derby's horrible record. This is one of the few games that you look at where Saints can actually win. So it's humongous for us. And same for Ipswich. I mean, Ipswich, for all the plaudits they've been getting, they are still in the bottom three. They're looking like they're on their way down. And they need to pick up 3 points against Southampton because we are the worst team in the league. So I think it's a massive game for both clubs. And my prediction, I'm going to go for a Saints win. And I think it will be 3-1 to Southampton.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Silence.
I think Saints have got that in their locker.
Silence.
I believe. Okay, well, so that's sort of the roundup of our best fixtures. And can you believe that no one picked Arsenal versus Man City?
Boring. Set piece teams, aren't they? Both of them rubbish.
Yeah. Right. Well, now we are in time for Andy's game. We're all going to be doing a game, taking it in turns this week, every week going forward. So I will pass you over to Andy, who is going to introduce his game and explain how we play it. So over to you, Andy.
Hello! No like it, no like it. All right, let's go on with the game. It's called the 5-second challenge, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to name either a team or a country, and you have to name the Premier League players that have played for them in 5 seconds. If you don't name them in 5 seconds, you're out. You're gone. And the last man standing is the winner. Take it in turns. I'm going to do a 5-second countdown, and if you don't name one, you're out. You're done. Right, so I am going to say Irish Premier League players. James starts first. 3, 2, 1.
Roy Keane.
Yep.
Robbie Keane.
Yep.
Michael Obafemi.
Yep.
Shane Long.
Yep.
Will Smallbone.
Yep.
Sean Lowry.
Kevin Kilban. I don't think Sean Lowry's a player.
Who'd you say?
Sean Lowry.
Sean Lowry.
Hang on. Shane Lowry's a golfer.
Yeah, Shane Lowry's a golfer. He's a golfer. Right, Matt is out. That is Matt gone.
So I win.
And James is the winner.
Yes.
Well done, James.
Brilliant.
I can't believe that.
That was awful. I expected that to go a little bit longer. I had quite a few left in the tank.
Yeah, that's poor.
What happened there?
But what Matt did, Matt crumbled, and he crumbled as bad as I've ever seen him. Well, actually, the worst I've ever seen Matt crumble was on his stag do when we played Crazy Golf, which is the most amazing stag do experience.
Most rattled Matt's ever been.
And he absolutely got rattled by these 10-year-olds who were taking the piss out of him, and he whacked the golf ball out of the course. Crumbled.
We need to. I don't know what's going on. My head's gone. End the podcast. End the podcast.
His head has gone. It's time for us to go. It's great to be back. Thank you very much, Andy. Thank you very much, Matt.
Thank you.
And thank you if you have taken the time to listen or watch. Please do follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Spotify, and share with your friends and family and your enemies. Why not? They might like it too. But until they do like it, everyone just remember that it's on your head, son.
Not off your head.
Son!
Way!
Hey, boy!